It's Thursday, the 31st of March 2022. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Adam Lang.
Good morning, Michael.
All right, 5 minutes, 5 stories. Let's get into it. Story number 1, Adam, in terms of iconic, well-known Australian companies, Telstra would have to be pretty close to the top of the list. It's also the most widely held stock in Australia. 1.2 million shareholders, a lot of people own Telstra shares. So really, news that the CEO, Andy Penn, is retiring has a pretty broad impact on investors right across the country. His time as CEO is widely seen as a success. He's led the company through some extraordinary changes, really trying to modernise a massive corporation in a telco sector that has been rapidly evolving.
That's right, Michael. Andy Penn's been at the job since 2015. He's really focused on making the operation leaner, cutting $2.5 billion in costs as part of his T22 transformation program. The company has shed about 8,000 jobs in his time and streamlined its offering to consumers. Now, this is an incredible statistic. Telstra went from offering 1,800 separate plans to just 20.
Yeah, it's pretty significant, isn't it? It shows how really big the organisation was and probably quite unwieldy it was. And really, he has carved all of that away and made it a bit more of a leaner operation heading into the future. So big change there for Telstra. Story number 2, Adam, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is going to address the Australian Parliament this afternoon. He's spoken to parliaments all around the world, US Congress, House of Commons in the UK, Canada. He's spoken to the German Parliament. Now it's Australia's turn. It's happening at 5:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
It is, and this is Volodymyr Zelensky taking really the story of what's happening in the Ukraine to the world. Overseas, Russian and Ukrainian negotiators have met face-to-face in Istanbul. Ukraine has agreed to declare itself permanently neutral, foregoing the chance to join NATO in exchange for security guarantees from Russia. But fighting continues for control of towns around the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. British and US government sources confirm some gains by Ukrainian forces and Russian troop withdrawals around Kyiv, but they also point out that any withdrawals may be for repositioning purposes rather than a strategic retreat.
Alrighty, now story number 3, Adam, and we've spoken about the COVID lockdown in Shanghai. The city remains in a hard lockdown and it's having some fairly significant consequences. China is the world's biggest exporter and a massive amount of cargo goes through Shanghai's seaports and airports.
That's right, Michael. And at this point, at least 7 airlines have suspended some or all of their freight flights into Shanghai for the duration of the lockdowns. One of them, Cargo Lux, is a freight-only airline that normally flies 747 jumbos full of cargo in and out of Shanghai. They've stopped those flights until at least the weekend. It's already hard to book cargo space around the world. There is a shortage, and now more cargo capacity is temporarily out of the market, and it puts more pressure on already overstretched global supply chains, leading to more delays, probably price rises, and further disruptions.
All right, how about this one for story number 4 today? It's been revealed that last week hackers made off with $540 million worth of cryptocurrency. But since then, because cryptos have been rising in value, the value of the stolen crypto has risen to over $600 million. On a dollar value basis, this is the world's second largest cryptocurrency theft.
Imagine that, Michael. Money that grows after you've stolen it. Michael, in this case, the hackers targeted a blockchain project called Ronin last Wednesday. Ronin said the thieves used stolen private keys, which basically work as online passwords, to get the cryptocurrency. Now, Ronin knows most of the funds are still in the hacker's digital wallet and is working with law enforcement and private security investigators to get the money back. But in the meantime, Ronin users cannot withdraw or deposit funds on that network.
Now, finally, Adam, story number 5, there's been a lot of talk lately about the sharing of Netflix passwords, and there's been talk that in certain places around the world, Netflix is actually trialling the limiting of the sharing of accounts across different households. There's a reason why they would want to do this, because it's eating into subscription revenues and eating into their profits.
Yes, Michael, Netflix's stock price is down almost 38% this quarter and has lost around half its value since November. So Netflix is facing tough competition from newer streaming platforms like Disney and slowing subscriber growth. Netflix's paid subscriber growth averaged 24% every year between 2016 and 2020, but it grew only 9% last year. Now, for many companies, 9% growth would be great, but the stock market wants to see growth in subscriber numbers higher because that obviously increases Netflix's revenue. And a crackdown on password sharing might be one way to push the new subscriber numbers up.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes, and not a mention of the federal budget. I think we can call that a success. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 31st of March, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.